The guy standing up on stage, I know that's the conductor, but he's doing this the whole time. What does that do? What does a conductor
What
do?
does that do? They're basic patterns, which are just time patterns. And there's a downbeat, which shows that's the first beat of the bar. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so that's the basic shape for if you've got something in 4/4 time. But what you probably see is something that probably looks a bit more random, because the players all kind of understand the basic shape. And then what the conductor is doing with their left hand is often shaping things and making momentum and giving little signals here and there. The musicians all have the music in front of them, so they know how it goes. But it's really that in the moment gesture that the conductor is doing to help bring things alive. And it's a really kind of spontaneous, kind of alchemical thing. There's no real science to it.
I thought, you'd have rehearsal times.
Oh yeah, there's rehearsal time as well. Yeah, exactly. So in that rehearsal, the conductor is taking the ensemble through the piece, and they take them apart and rehearse little bits. But when you've got a larger number of musicians on stage, then you generally require someone up the front to be able to keep it all together. And musicians are pretty remarkable at being able to both simultaneously be listening to each other and then following the gestures of the person up front. But in the case of a meagre ensemble, for example, they don't use a conductor, and it's the musicians cueing themselves and kind of taking the role of a conductor in kind of a smaller ensemble context.
So is it just, here's the music sheet, play this?
Yes, it can be. They usually send out music in advance, and if there's anything particularly tricky, then players will mark it up and do rehearsal for it, and then in the recording session there'll be an amount of rehearsal, and then the recording will happen, and then they'll do a number of takes of different things and slowly put that together. But yeah, professional musicians work at a really fast rate.
So is there any layer of experimentation from those musicians in the recording booth?
Yeah, there can be. For example, if you think of some of the horror scores and anything that's particularly suspenseful, a lot of composers lean into avant-garde techniques where sometimes an amount of instruction is actually given over to the players, and they might say, improvise really high squeaky notes and things like that. So there can be elements of experimentation. If you're a good composer, you map all of that into your score and make it very clear about what the musicians are expected to do in any one moment. If you just come in and say, let's just jam this film score, that's never going to work. So you've actually got to come in with quite a lot of preparation in advance, and everything has to be synchronized up to film anyway, and timings are incredibly important. Things recorded to click tracks and all sorts of crazy stuff like that.
With the costs of hiring musicians and stuff, people do it digitally. What are your opinions on doing it digitally versus hiring an actual musician to play it?
Yeah, they're different things. I mean, there's a lot of commercial music that is done digitally now in digital audio workstations. And watch out, because AI is coming with this as well, and it's starting to suck up music and being able to do these fake versions of things. I like music written by humans, personally, and that's where having a live musician will, I don't think, ever be replaced by AI or by software. There's something just magical about having live musicians and the way that an orchestral sonority works, and the beauty of the individual timbre and the humanness behind things. There's breath behind woodwind instruments. There's a physical action of what you do with a violin that shapes things, and it's essentially human, and I think that's what always attracts people to live musicians. Yeah, they cost more, but in fact live musicians are very fast. So if you put them in a studio, you can record a surprising amount of music in a day. You can do a whole film score in a week. It's amazing what they get through.